because they wanted the court to be a court of last resort. This is implemented by the principle of complementarity, which says that the International Criminal Court will not exercise jurisdiction unless domestic courts are unable or unwilling to exercise jurisdiction. There is inability when civil courts are not functioning, as in the case of Somalia. There is unwillingness when there is immunity statute. Yes, we have immunity for our presidents, but they subsist only during their tenure in office. As we have shown the world, 2 of our past presidents went to jail immediately after their terms of office. I refer to that to show that there is no unwillingness in the Philippines because obviously a president can be prosecuted for any acts committed after his term of office. And that is why it is the position of the president that the case is inadmissible. On the merits, the president is charged with alleged crimes against humanity. The elements of crimes against humanity are that there must be either widespread or systematic attack directed against civilian populations with knowledge that it was being directed against civilian populations. The acts attributed to the president are killings in relation to the ongoing drug war. We note, though, that the ongoing war against drug is an exercise of police power in dealing with the pernicious problem of drug trafficking in the Philippines. As a sovereign state, the Philippines has the inherent responsibility to protect its current and future generations by effectively addressing threats to the safety and well-being of its citizens, such as the proliferation of illegal drugs. Because the war against drug is a lawful, legitimate police operation, it cannot be characterized as an attack against civilian populations because they are civilians. No? It is a lawful use of force, and therefore we submit likewise that on the merits, the element of directing an attack against civilian populations is simply lacking. We view, of course, this decision of the prosecutor as a waste of the court's time and resources. Again, as a matter of sovereign consent, we gave our consent to be a member of the ICC, subject to, number 1, the court being a court of last resort, and that secondly, subject to the principle of complementarity, and number 3, that not all crimes can be cognizable by the court because only crimes which are of the gravest nature, greatest affront against the international community should be subject to the jurisdiction of the court. The President and I met about this extensively for more than 2 hours last night. The President has said that he also welcomes this preliminary examination because he's sick and tired of being accused of the commission of crimes against humanity. This is an opportunity for him to prove that this is not subject to the court's jurisdiction because of both complementarity, that domestic courts, and the fact that we have a domestic international humanitarian law statute in our jurisdiction are reasons enough for the court not to exercise jurisdiction. On the merit, he of course stands by his position that he swore an oath to protect this republic against all threats to national security, and he noted that the war on drugs was characterized not by him but by his predecessor, Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo, as a threat against national security. Clearly, the use of force against a threat against national security cannot be an attack against civilian populations because they form part of civilian populations. Questions, please.
RTVM, okay na audio? RTVM, okay? Wala audio kasi na. Question? Rose Novinario.
Sir, yung diniscuss niyo po, ito yung kasong isinampa sa tungkol kay Matubato and ano?
Hindi po yan kaso. It's a communication. Wala pong kaso pa because there is only a preliminary examination. So if they think they have indicted the president, that's so wrong. They wish.
So may sakali magpatawag po ng kinatawan ng Philippine government, sino po yung posible magpunta ron?
Wala pong ipapatawag dyan because earlier in my slide, in the assessment, it's just collection and verification of information. Wala pa pong kailangan pumunta doon, although our embassy in The Hague will in fact communicate the fact that the war against drug is a sovereign act and that our sovereign consent to become a member of the court is subject to the rule of complementarity, and that our courts are more than able and willing to exercise jurisdiction, as in fact, there is a pending complaint against the killings allegedly attributed to the war on drugs pending in the Office of the Ombudsman, and that the Office of the Ombudsman has the power to recommend an impeachment, which, if successful, will lead to a criminal prosecution against the President.
Sir, sa palagay po ninyo, may kamay dito o may kinalaman dito yung kalaban sa politika locally ni Presidente?
In fact, sila pong behind this. Obviously, there's been concerted public relations initiative against the President, probably to coincide with February. Obviously, this is intended to embarrass the President, but the President is a lawyer. He knows what the procedures are. They will fail. The President has said that if need be, he will argue his case personally before the International Criminal Court.
Thank you.
Follow up. Joseph Morong. Microphone, please.
Okay, so we acknowledge that it's a very early stage, preliminary examination. But did you say that if it does proceed with the whole shebang, the President is willing to face the ICC
He
himself?
said he wants to be in court and put the prosecutor on the stand to ask, who prodded you to proceed to preliminary examination? Because it is the suspicion of the President that it is, of course, the domestic enemies of the state behind this.
Follow up. Inandolo.
Sir, just to be clear doon sa process kanina, is Malacanang, is this based from a complaint or communication
It's not a complaint.
filed?
It's a communication because there's no complaint yet. There's no charges yet. So it emanated from, I said, from the communication filed by individuals alleging crimes against humanity in the Philippines.
Do you know these? Do you
All
know
I
these
know is it was
individuals?
Senator Trillanes and Jude Sabio, and Matubato was a witness, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Sir, sabi niyo magkakaroon nga ng collection of data or information.
Their assessment,
Are you
collection
expecting
and
them,
verification
and
of information.
will local authorities be instructed to provide whatever, let's say, data on killings under the drug war? Or will you be directing them to comply with whatever requests may be made?
The President has made it clear that he will communicate. He will assert the principle of complementarity. He will assert the legality of the war against drug as a valid exercise of sovereign powers, and therefore the element required for a crime against humanity is lacking.
Sir, if the ICC prosecutor requests for data on the killings, will the PNP or other concerned agencies be required by Malacanang to comply with the request?
Of course, because the data on killings alone will not prove anything. The mens rea is you kill them because they are civilians, and the only reason why you kill them is because they are civilians. But if it is because of a lawful sovereign act to deal with the problem of illegal drugs, it is a position of the President that this cannot be the element required for a crime against humanity.
Sir, similar lang dun po sa tanong ni Rose kanina. You don't see the need to form a team yet to handle this for future scenarios that may arise from this?
The President has made, the President himself is a lawyer. He looks forward, in fact, to engaging the prosecutor of the court.
Thank you, sir.
As a former prosecutor himself.
Follow up. Joseph Morong.
So I'm just going back to the previous statements of the President with regard to the ICC. He said before na parang he doesn't fear that because paano ba yun? Wala namang kulungan yata yung ICC. May mga points siya na niraise na ganun. At the end, as a question of procedure, sir, assuming we reach the end of the point, of the procedure, no? Paano ba yun? Yung ICC will, if there's going to be any punishment, paano yun?
Nothing. The ICC relies on state cooperation for arrest of individuals, although this is speculative. But right now, they have a problem. They have charged a sitting president, al-Bashir, and they're not able to apprehend him because no state cooperates.
So meaning, sir, even if they exercise their power, parang at the end of it, will they be able to really impose anything?
In the case of al-Bashir, nothing.
Do you think in our case they will be able to do that?
In our case, they will not go beyond preliminary examination.
Okay. Sure.
Okay, follow-up question. Other issue? Ace Romero.
Secretary, pwede nyo ba kaming bigyan ng information about yung naging meeting ng Pangulo with the labor groups?
Well, it was closed doors, and although I was invited, I had previous engagement, but I was made to understand that he asked for more time to issue the executive order on ENDO. And that's all that I was informed by head of protocol.
Bakit po kaya pinag-aaralan pa yung mga documents?
He's
Ganun?
studying the matter more thoroughly.
Okay. How about yung meeting po with the ambassador of Kuwait?
The meeting happened, but again, it was only a bilateral meeting. No one was allowed in the room.
Okay.
It's only the president that knows what he discussed.
Thank you, Secretary.
Okay. Rose Novenario.
Sir, other issue po. Sir, may statement si
Wait
Presidente.
lang, sandali lang, Rose. RJ, okay, Rose.
Sir, may statement si Presidente kagabi na sa bawat isang sundalong mapapatay na NPA, 5 naman yung NPA na dapat patayin ng mga sundalo. Ano yung retaliation po ba yun sa pahayag ni Joma Sison na isang sundalo kada araw yung kanyang utos na patayin ng mga NPA?
I think the message is, you don't threaten us, Joma Sison. We are the state. If we haven't eradicated you, it's because we opted not to eradicate you as Filipinos. But if you want war, we're ready to go to war.
Parang ano na po yun, pahiwatig na po yun ng all-out war laban sa
Hindi naman po
CPP-NPA.
pahiwatig, pero nandyan ang resources po ng gobyerno at hindi dapat tinatakot ang gobyerno na parang mas malaki pa ang kakayahan nila no, na manaig sa isang digmaan. Hindi po totoo yun. Handa po ang hukbong sa datahan kung gusto nila ng digmaan.
Thank you.
Follow-up? Other issue? Rose? Follow-up. Ina. Okay. Ina Andolong.
Sir, on employment, in last December, you talked about a slight increase in the country's unemployment rate. Considering the recent reports of big companies like Coca-Cola laying off some employees and statistics from the Philippine Statistics Authority saying that in NCR alone, in January, more than 400 companies advised that they will be terminating employees. More than 6,000 have actually been terminated. Do you think that figure from December will improve?
Probably, yes, it will improve because we have unprecedented locators, foreign investors who have registered with the Board of Investment. And of course, in today's good news, we have also record figures as far as manufacturing output of the country is concerned.
So you're confident that those more than 6,600 people in NCR alone last month who lost their jobs will be able to find jobs?
We're confident because also of the Build, Build, Build program of the government.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Roscos.
Hi sir, reaction po ng Palas dahil po sa ngayon na nire-review ng Canadian government yung deal na kapipirma lang po ng agreement na magbenta ng 16 na helicopters dahil posibleng gamitin against the NPA rebels.
Well, malinaw po ang dahilan kung bakit natin gustong bumili ng Bell helicopters. Ito po'y gagamitin para transportasyon ng personnel, supplies, humanitarian missions, ng mga ferrying of wounded and injured soldiers, and other forms of humanitarian assistance and disaster response.
Pero sir, nabanggit ng isang military official na kabilang din sa paggagamitan ng mga helicopters is to address the internal security operations po.
Well, as I said,
Concerns.
we purchase helicopters. If they don't want to sell, well, we may consider the prospect of procuring them from other sources.
Okay, thank you, Rose. Philip? Or may follow-up sa Canada? Philip?
Sir, good morning. So sinabi po ni Presidente kahapon about din sa Benham Rice that he received a statement from another country that they recognize yung sovereign rights na Pilipinas
Yes.
over Philippine rice.
Yes.
Could you tell us from what country was this?
I think it was publicly reported that China, while expressing somehow, I wouldn't say disappointment, while acknowledging that we have put an end to scientific research, reiterated that it recognizes the sovereign rights of the Philippines over Philippine rice.
Was it an official diplomatic communication, sir, or nabasa lang po ng presidente sa briefer?
It's been widely reported in the media as having been mentioned by a spokesperson of China.
Okay. Tapos, sir, may story po sa Global Times. It's a paper in the mainland China, published under the auspices of the Communist Party there, saying that they would be expanding yung artificial islands nila sa South China Sea.
That's a newspaper report. We will not comment until there's some formal reports coming from the Department of Foreign Affairs.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Follow up, Joseph Morong.
Sir, nabasa lang din ni Presidente, or the way he related it yesterday was that it was a first-hand information, of course, that China told him na may ganong recognition.
In the first place, Philippine rice is undisputed. It was awarded to us by the UN Commission on the Extended Continental Shelf.
Correct.
So that award is recognized even by China. It was never disputed by any state. Whether be it official, unofficial, China has reiterated that it recognizes our sovereign rights. Okay?
Yes, but it is relevant because according to Secretary Piñol, one of the reasons that the President gave why when he issued the order na bawal na yung mga foreign explorations, well, you have clarifications on that, was that there's a low-level cabinet secretary from China who said that it is not owned by anyone. So that statement that China recognizes and acknowledges our sovereign rights is relevant, especially given the characteristics of China.
Might be relevant, but ask Secretary Piñol.
Okay, follow up. Other issue? Okay, Roscoe.
Sir, other groups are questioning kung bakit daw po parang ang gobyerno ay kulang sa transparency dahil yung unang research na ginawa ng China until now ay hindi pa dinidisclose yung information. Pinayagan na sa ikalawang research.
Alam mo, mali po yan na walang transparency. Kasi nga po, wala namang research na walang kasamang Pilipino. So, hindi lang po tayo transparent. Require po natin sa guidelines na may kasamang Pilipino. I-distinguish po natin yung mga kalaban sa politika na lahat ginagawang issue at yung katotohanan. Sa guidelines po ng interagency, kinakailangan kasama Pilipino at kinakailangan sinishare ang resulta ng scientific study sa Pilipinas. Malinaw po tayo dyan.
So, ibig sabihin meron na po tayong result.
Yes, yung mga kasama na nag-research, kasama po sila kumuha ng results. No? Yung mga nakalap na data, meron din po silang kopya. Sang-ayon po yan sa opisyal na guidelines.
Okay, thank you. Follow up? Okay, Joseph.
Sir, sa China again, no? Kilala mo naman si Professor Ramel, no? Tanlawi.
Yes.
Okay. So he said that yung recent activity ng China on the South China Sea is muscle flexing. Parang, ano siya, message to the US and whoever. And the end goal is to control that area. We're not doing anything about that muscle flexing of China. We're just going to stand and watch.
We are asserting an independent foreign policy. We're not giving out territory. We're protecting our sovereign rights. And at the same time, we're doing the best that we can given our state of preparedness. No? So the difference is we're not willing to be used by other states that want to challenge the alleged dominance of China in the region, no? Because we have ceased to be a lackey of any other state. We stand on our own.
Okay, follow up. Other issue? Pia Gutierrez.
Sir, you mentioned talking to the president last night. Did he mention giving a directive to the administration or his officials to fast-track the importation of NFA rice?
No. I think I had a more extended discussion with Cabinet Secretary. He says that while he confirmed that he was the one who gave me the information about the 250,000 metric tons standby authority to import, he says the reason why they have not actually resorted to importation is that under the minimum access volume, we're expecting 325,000 metric tons of rice to arrive within the month. So why should we import? So the point is there's already rice on its way. There's no need to authorize the standby order of an additional 250,000 because there's more than enough rice on its way to beef up the NFA stock. Now, he clarified that the procedure is not only must the council approve, they must also consult the, what is that office now? I forget. The Food Security Office Council to determine if there's really a shortage, no? And there hasn't been a shortage. Mas magaling pala kayo eh. Oh. Nagtatanong pa kayo, no? Alam nyo naman pala. Oh. Okay.
Microphone. Pia, okay ka na?
Follow up. Sige, go.
Joseph.
Ikaw muna on the rice, please. Let's finish the rice before I forget my figures.
All right, game. Because, speak to the consumers. No? Kasi ang nakikita nila sa market ngayon, mahal na mga 5 or 6 pesos, even the commercial rice. Should we be seeing yung mga ganon na pagtataas ng presyo given na we have enough rice according to government?
Well, ang clarification po na ginawa ni Cabinet Secretary Ibasco na merong supervision sa National Food Authority ay sapat-sapat po ang ating supply sa bigas. Meron pa pong napakadaming parating na 325,000 metric tons na bigas. Kaya nga po, yung standby order na another 250,000 tons ay hindi pa ina-approve ng council. Bagamat in principle po, kung kinakailangan talaga, kaya nga ang tawag dyan is standby. No? Pero ngayon po, naniniwala siya na with 305,000 metric tons of rice on its way, hindi po kinakailangang mag-import pa pursuant to the standby authority.
With regard to prices, wala bang, hindi nyo ba sasabihan yung DTI to maybe monitor and then discipline yung mga...
Well, alam niyo po kasi yung merkado naman, no? They react to supply and demand, no? Siguro po lumakas lang talaga ang consumption natin, no? Dahil una-una, napakadaming abiryang nangyari, kaya naubos nga yung stockpile natin ng bigas. Pangatlo, nagkaroon din ng, kakatapos lang ng Pasko. So, yan po yung mga bagay-bagay, no, na dapat makonsidera. Pero pag dumating na po yan 305,000 325 metric ton, sigurado po naman baka bababa ang presyo ng bigas dahil napakalaking volume po yan.
Okay, Ina, last NFA rice, then last 2 questions, NFA.
Sir, ang sinasabi po kasi ng NFA administration, the importation through MAV, through MAV, napupunta daw po yun sa commercial rice stocks. Only a very small percentage daw goes to the lower cost NFA rice. So how can you say that this additional supply will lead to lower prices, may bring down prices when sa commercial rice pa rin naman daw po sila mapupunta?
Kahit anong klaseng rice po yan, pag maraming supply, bumababa ang presyo. Di ba po? Law of supply and demand.
Okay. Sir, yesterday also I spoke to CABSEC Junevasco, and he said that marami daw pong ramblings sa NFA, possibly because some people there may want to import through government to government or G2G because nandun daw po yung racket. Did he discuss this with you yesterday?
Alam mo, I always stand by my colleagues in the cabinet. I cannot take the position of anyone else but the alter egos of the president pursuant to the qualified political agency doctrine. No? So I stand by CABSEC. If he sees that the rambling is because some people want to make money, so be it. But I'm happy that CABSEC Ibasco is on top of the situation. He enjoys full trust and confidence of the president. That's why until now the president has not commented on this issue because he trusts that Secretary Ibasco will do what is best.
So he did discuss that with you yesterday, na parang
No, he
may
did not.
gustong kumita.
Well, hindi naman po. But if you're saying that's what he said, I have to approve and support what he said.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, last
I mean, if you're asking me
Kung na-bring up
who
this
I will
yesterday.
believe, I will believe my colleague in the cabinet because they are the alter ego of the president.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, last sa NFA, then last three questions, Philip, Pia, and Jopel.
And incidentally, the position of CABSEC
Raymond.
appears to be corroborated by the position of Senator Villar, that there is no shortage.
Sir?
But there is a scenario to justify importation. No?
The NFA admitted also that there is no shortage of rice production in the country. But they have the problem because they are only buying 17 pesos per kilo from the farmers. So the farmers are not selling their rice to them. So they choose to sell to the retailers, private retailers. So why can't we just, the NFA, increase the 17 pesos buying price so that the farmers will just sell their products to them and no need to import, and you already help also the economy of the farmers.
Tama po ang katanungan nyo, pakitanong po sa NFA. Kasi hindi ko talaga maintindihan bakit sila nagsabi ng gano'n. Eh sila naman ang nagdidesisyon kung magkaanong presyong bibili nila. Di ba po?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Raymond. On NFA, other issue, Jopel, Philip, sige.
Sir, kahapon sabi ni Presidente, dadalhin niya yung mga rebel returnees, the female rebel returnees to China and Hong Kong. Pupunta daw siya because he has a standing invite. Confirm po ba yun?
Ay, naku, meron naman po, di ba, when the President met with the President in Vietnam, there was an invitation extended. No? And the invitation was, it can be state, official, private. You're always welcome to come to China.
May date na po ba kung kailan niya dadalhin yung mga dating NPA members?
Wala pa po. Pero alam niyo yung gagawin ni Presidente, parang ginawa niya doon sa mga opisyalis ng Marawi. Kasi kung maalala niyo, yung mga trips to Russia, at saka kung di ako nagkakamali, trip to China din, dinala niya yung ilang mga opisyalis na lumaban sa Marawi.
And another question, sir. Nabanggitin niya kahapon na any day now daw pupunta siya ng Kuwait.
Kung binanggit na yun, so
Yeah.
be it. Dahil sabi sa akin, confidential daw yun eh. Kaya hindi ko sinabi.
So,
Pero
wala-
kung
wala
binanggit
po-
naman pala niya, yes.
Anong
Pag
sir?
nabanggit na niya, yes, then I can make confirmation. Or there was told that I should not. But there's a trip in the offing. To Kuwait.
Ano pong gagawin
I
niya?
do not know what the agenda is because only the president met with the ambassador. No one was allowed in the room. I could only surmise. No, it's not like that. I can only surmise that the invitation was made during the bilateral meeting. Well, I guess Kuwait wants to assure the president that Philippine nationals are protected, no, in Kuwait, and to see for himself.
May threat kasi sir si Presidente, di ba, na kung meron namang makitang or may namatay na Filipina, he would ask the Filipinos there to come home. May report po kasi ngayon na may Filipina na naman nakita sa loob ng freezer na 1 year ng patay and had torture marks. Would this trigger or that threat to the president?
I do not know, quite frankly, because this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Jopel. Pia Gutierrez, then si Jopel. Last, si Joseph Morong.
Hi, sir. Sir, you are the primary author of House Bill 6834, correct?
Yes.
And sir, ngayon kasi this is being attacked by human rights groups as another draconian measure to curtail people's freedom of expression. Sir, bakit, I just want to be clear, why do you need that? There is a need for higher penalties for rallies which are unannounced.
Well, because you need to balance. The rule is we respect the ruling in Bhagat Singh that, again, I should not be answering this because it still doesn't involve the president, but because I started answering it, I might as well finish. No? We codified basically the ruling in Reyes versus Bhagat Singh, no? That the license of the people to exercise the right to peaceful assembly is found in the Constitution. However, local government has the right to limit the time, place, and manner of the conduct of the public assembly. No? So it is provided there that the grant of a rally permit is ministerial unless there is a clear and present danger, which is also a codification of the case that I argued in the Supreme Court, which is the case of Cadiz versus Mayor of Manila. No? So The rule is, while it is almost ministerial for them to issue rally permits because the license is granted by the Constitution itself, and therefore it must be issued unless there is a clear and present danger that the state has a right to protect itself against, any rally, therefore, should be given a permit. So under this delicate balance, anyone who resorts to an unannounced rally could be held liable for their acts. Because in the first place, there is now confidence that when you apply and there's no clear and present danger, we have fixed time frames within which the local government units must in fact issue the license permit. And if they refuse to do anything on it, it is deemed granted. So under this scheme of things, it's not unreasonable, no? To require individuals to get the permit. Again, the delicate balance is it must be issued within a specified period unless there is a clear and present danger.
Sir, since you're answering it naman, do you think na masyado pong mabigat yung 6 months to 6 years imprisonment?
Hindi naman. Hindi naman. Kasi sa totoo, hindi naman nasa-serve yung 6 months to 6 years. Diba?
Is this something that the President supports?
It's an act created by Congress, well, legislated by Congress. And let me see, I have many bills now, some of which have lapsed into law, the free irrigation bill. That's also my bill, no? Wala na naman kaming ceremony, no? Sabi ng Presidente, magsa-ceremony siya, but it lapsed into law. So I'm a bit confused now if this is one of those that had lapsed or had only been submitted to him for his signature. Submitted ba sa kanya ito for his signature? Ha? I will check, ha? Alam ko yung irrigation law ang naglapse na into law, no? Because he did not sign it and therefore it lapsed into law.
Pero did he in
This
any
was
way...
not certified as urgent.
Okay.
This was something that I pushed through the process in the House of Representatives.
Or did he mention anything about needing stricter or graver
It's not
penalties?
actually stricter because we codified basically existing jurisprudence in Reyes versus Bagatsing and Cadiz versus Mayor of Manila.
Or graver penalties, sir? Did he mention anything about...
No, he hasn't mentioned.
All right,
Okay,
sir.
thank you, Pia. Follow up, Ina. Short lang, and then Jopel and Joseph Morong.
Sir, since sa rallies na rin tayo, dun sa sinabi mo sa Feb 23, you said, hopefully students will not be skipping their classes. I just want to confirm, is it true that when you were still teaching in UP, sir, you would encourage your students to skip their classes and join protests?
I did not encourage them to skip class. What we did was we held class in the streets. Oh, that was not skipping class. That's how we were able to come up with a doctrine in Cadiz versus City Mayor of Manila. According to the government then in power, there will be no rallies allowed in Mendiola because there is a clear and present danger. So I said, class, we will now have a classroom session in Mendiola. Best dress up on your best Sunday clothes so that we will not be classified as clear and present danger by the government. So they all went in their best party clothes and we rallied. We were, of course, sued by the government, but we went to court arguing that we filed a rally permit. It was not granted. It was unconstitutional because it can only be denied on the basis of clear and present danger. So I did not encourage them to skip class. We held our class in Mendiola.
But you encouraged them to participate in protests in a way.
Well, of course, there has to be critical thinking in the university. We did not walk out from our classes. We held our classes in the streets.
Thank you, Ina.
Lusot na ako doon.
So they can, on the 23rd, sir, they can hold their classes in the streets, yes?
Ladies and gentlemen, are there any other further questions?
That's the
Joseph,
question.
last
Because I have
question ka na.
ceased
Joseph,
to
ituloy mo na
teach.
sa question mo. Joseph.
Last two. Serious question. They can hold classes on the 23rd, right?
Yes,
Like
of
it
course.
is. Okay. Second, yeah. Sir, regarding Bisaya, no?
Regarding?
The Cebuano. The president expressed, I think, sometime last week sa Davao, no? Na gusto niya cabinet meeting will be in Bisaya. Has he done that in?
No, he
Hindi
still
naman.
speaks in Filipino and in English.
Okay, so this is not going to be like a policy now that more strength on the use of Cebuano.
It's not an official policy, but I think it's good for the Visayans, no, that more, the president is speaking in Visayan as well.
Correct. So, pero hindi naman yan yung parang serious na we're
Hindi
going to...
naman, because the last cabinet meeting, he did not speak in Visayan.
Okay.
Okay, thank
The
you,
last time he
Joseph.
spoke in Visayan was for the dinner with the rebel returnees.
Yesterday, sir.
Last question, Jopel?
Yes.
I'm sure you had many questions about the speech yesterday with the rebel returnees, correct? The one in Visayan that she delivered, marami kayong tanong doon. No? Like, what did he say? Anyway, naka-televise mo
Yes,
pala
sir.
tayo.
Pero okay na sa akin yung sa kasi Bisaya naman ako.
Okay.
Sir, yung regarding po dun sa statement ko lang po sir dun sa kinumpirma nung dating clerk of court na mababa yung nakuwang grade ni CJ Sereno. And dahil doon, 2 psychiatrist ang tinanggal ni